Mangwanani Mwalelepo Vukenjani Klekwas Dumelava Nave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show that remains your portal into Africa's most potent stories. Later on in the show, we will be joined by Mr. Mike Sichula, who is in Lusaka as he delivers the Zambia report. But prior to that, these are some of the stories we're looking at. We'll be talking about Morocco holding Brazil as Vinicius Jr. rescues Seleção streak. Australia joins US and UK with South Africa security alert. Referendum bill deepens DR Congo constitutional battle. Zimbabwe introduces new rules for cryptocurrency operators. And IMF reviews Mozambique request for fund-supported arrangement. And as I said, we're going to start with the World Cup. Vinicius Jr. spared Brazil from an opening World Cup defeat for the first time since 1934, as his brilliant solo goal secured a draw against Morocco at the New Jersey Stadium. Brazil fell behind in the 21st minute when Ismail Saibari lifted the ball over Alisson Becker from outside the area following a communication lapse involving the Liverpool goalkeeper and defenders Gabriel and Marquinhos. It was the first time Morocco had scored against South American opposition at a World Cup after failing to do so against Peru in 1970 and Brazil in 1998. Morocco continued to dominate and had registered 12 shots by the 30th minute, the most Brazil have faced in a World Cup match since meeting Mexico in 2018. Mohamed Ouabi's side could not extend their advantage, and Vinicius leveled 13 minutes before halftime on his 50th appearance for Brazil after collecting a pass from Bruno Guimarães, cutting inside and firing beyond Yassine Bounoum. Lucas Paqueta nearly scored before the break, but the draw preserved Brazil's 92-year unbeaten opening match record at the tournament. And now let's have a look at some of the other results at the World Cup from the weekend, including some from this morning. Full-time, Cote d'Ivoire versus Ecuador. Amad Diallo, the Manchester United man, gets it done for the Ivorians as they defeat Ecuador. Germany making sure that their presence is felt as a beat newcomers Curacao 7-1. It must be noted this was Curaçao's very first World Cup match, very first World Cup appearance in a country of about 100,000 people. People around the world did celebrate Comenza's goal. However, the Germans certainly had more cake on their plate. Sweden strikes again. Domination against Tunisia with a 5-1 dominating win. And the Japanese refuse to say no. Why? Because as the Netherlands were about to wrap up this game with a 2-1 victory in what could be a last-minute goal, Kamada from a free kick scored a beautiful header. So those are some of the FIFA World Cup results. We'll be bringing them to you every single day on Africa Good Morning. But shortly, we're going to get into our top stories from broader Africa.
Namibia is a land of movement, with waves that never stop reaching forward. Here, adventure is not something we search for. It is something we are born into. In every corner of this country, creativity rises. From artists, from athletes, from dreamers. And when the world comes to explore Namibia, they discover something extraordinary. Because when sport moves people, creativity moves ideas, and tourism moves the world toward us. Something powerful happens. A platform where movement meets imagination, where industries connect, where opportunity grows, where Namibia's next chapter begins. Welcome to the Creative Sport Tourism Expo. Exhibit, partner, experience. Creative Sport Tourism.
Australia has joined the United States and United Kingdom in warning citizens traveling to South Africa about heightened security risks linked to violent crime, public unrest, and concerns surrounding anti-immigration protests. In an updated travel advisory, Australia's Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade urged travellers to exercise a high degree of caution throughout the country, warning that criminals frequently target tourists at airports, on public transport, and in popular visitor destinations. Authorities highlighted dangers including armed robberies, vehicle hijackings, smash and grab attacks, ATM fraud, and scams involving people posing as police officers. The advisory stated that crime and violence remain serious concerns, including murder, rape, assault, food and drink spiking, robbery, and carjacking. Travelers were advised to remain vigilant in major city centers, township areas, and when traveling after dark. Australian officials also warned of possible protests, roadblocks, transport disruptions, and property damage, including those linked to the June 30 shutdown planned by anti-immigration group March and March. Now, Congolese lawmakers have passed a referendum bill that could pave the way for constitutional reform ahead of the 2028 elections, intensifying a political standoff in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The National Assembly approved the legislation without opposition lawmakers who have boycotted Parliament for weeks in protest. The bill would be central to any constitutional revision as President Felix Tshisekedi's second and final term expires in 2028. Tshisekedi has indicated openness to a scenario that could lead to a third term through constitutional revision and even a possible postponement of elections, stating that if the people wanted him to have a third term, he would accept. His Union for Democracy and Social Progress has launched a public campaign promoting constitutional reform. Opposition figures, including Moise Katumbi, argue that the referendum law is designed to bypass presidential term limits and have labeled it a constitutional coup. Now, Zimbabwe has moved to regulate its cryptocurrency sector by requiring businesses involved in virtual assets to register annually and pay fees as the government seeks greater oversight of the market. Under regulations issued by Finance Minister Mthuli Ncube, businesses buying, selling, transferring, or safeguarding virtual assets must register with the Financial Intelligence Unit, an anti-money laundering body housed within the central bank. Registration will cost $500 per year, and operating without registration is now an offense. The regulations represent Zimbabwe's first dedicated rules for a sector that has operated largely without a legal framework. Financial institutions were banned from trading cryptocurrency in 2018, pushing many traders onto peer-to-peer platforms and social media. Demand for Bitcoin and other digital currencies grew after hyperinflation wiped out savings and pensions, and repeated currency changes weakened confidence in the banking system. Remittances have also supported adoption, with banks identified as the most expensive transfer channel, according to the World Bank's Remittance Prices Worldwide report. Zimbabwe joins countries including South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, and Mauritius in regulating digital assets as cryptocurrency use grows across Africa. Now, the International Monetary Fund has discussed Mozambique's request for a fund-supported arrangement following a week-long mission to the southern African country. The IMF team, led by Pablo Lopez Murphy, visited Maputo from June 8 to 12 and described Mozambique as facing a challenging economic situation. According to the IMF, economic activity is gradually recovering from a contraction in 2025, although growth remains subdued. The mission reviewed recent economic developments, discussed government plans to restore fiscal and debt sustainability, and explored how the fund could best support Mozambique going forward. Earlier this year, the IMF reclassified Mozambique's debt as unsustainable, citing a deterioration in public finances. The country's debt difficulties trace back to the 2016 hidden debt scandal, which damaged investor confidence and restricted access to funding. The latest discussions come as authorities seek solutions to stabilize public finances and improve debt management. Those have been our top stories on Africa Good Morning. As promised, shortly we will be joined by Mr. Mike Sichula as he delivers the Zambia report. But prior to that, let's have a look at the weather predictions. It's time for us to talk to Mr. Mike Sichula in Zambia. Mike Buribanji.
Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Tiribuino. Now, in the first story, President Hakainde Hichilema is sent to be recognized as one of 2026's 100 most noteworthy Africans.
Yes, indeed. He is among 100 African leaders who have been identified, and these include Ethiopian Prime Minister, former AU Chairperson Dlamini Zuma. So President Hakainde Hichilema is also among these leaders that the organizers of the event who spoke to the Business Day publication said that President Hakainde Hichilema will be among those leaders to be recognized and honored during this event. So this event will run from the 26th to 28th of June in Marrakesh, Morocco. So President Hakainde Hichilema has been praised for his exemplary leadership, especially in the restructuring of Zambia's debt, which has taken his administration 3 years to restructure. Then one of the attributes the organizers are looking at and attributing it to President Hakainde Hichilema is the provision of free education, which, according to the Ministry of Education, it has led to about 2.6 million children returning back to school because the government is providing free education and also they are also providing meals to these students. So it is something that President Hakainde Hichilema has gotten the attention of the Business Day publication, and we hope that he's going to be in attendance. But considering that Zambia is busy in campaigns, I don't think President Hakainde Hichilema will attend this event. He may have to send someone to get this award on his behalf.
All right, now staying with the president, he has declined to sign into law due to some significant opposition, a public gatherings bill. Tell us about it, Mike.
Yeah, so the public gathering bill is a proposal that is meant to replace the Public Order Act, which has been in existence since 1955 or before Zambia attained independence in 1964. So this bill, this law, the Public Order Act, has been widely condemned by many stakeholders, including President Hakainde Hichilema himself when he was in opposition, because it gives too much powers to the governing party and restricts the operations of opposing political parties. So when President Hakainde Hichilema was in opposition, he had promised Zambians that he was going to repeal this law once he comes into office. But what has surprised many is that the public's gathering bill, which his administration has advanced, is more stiffer than the Public Order Act. So when discussions were tabled to say this bill is going to be presented to Parliament, a number of stakeholders called on President Hakainde Hichilema to expose this bill to further consultations, because some of the clauses in it did not go well with the civil society organizations, including parliamentarians and many other people who are concerned with assembling of people in a democratic state. So despite all these arguments and calling on him, President Hakainde Hichilema, to drop it, parliamentarians went ahead to pass it in Parliament so that it was just waiting for presidential assent. But we were told on the 10th of June that President Hakainde Hichilema actually sent back this bill to Parliament on 29th of May. And this does not excite too many people, because they were saying, why didn't he block it before parliamentarians debated it? But all in all, he has also gotten some accolades and praise from other stakeholders who said President Hakainde Hichilema has listened to their cause that this bill should not become law.
All right, Mike, thank you very much for that comprehensive update. Now, we understand that 2 Zimbabwean truck drivers have been arrested for illegally smuggling 9 Ethiopian nationals into Zambia.
Yeah, so our viewers may wish to know that the smuggling of Ethiopian nationals through Zambia is something that has been happening for some time now. We hardly a month or two goes without Zambia, the immigration department, giving a report to the nation that they have arrested so many number of Ethiopian nationals smuggled. But this latest case of involving 2 Zimbabwean truck drivers is the latest, because it is, I think it is almost the first time that we're hearing that Zimbabwean truck drivers are now being involved in the smuggling of the Ethiopian nationals. Those you can see there in the pictures. So the 2 Zimbabwean drivers are named Joe Mefeon, 53, and Pabidazi Chipurira, or 36. So they were arrested on the 13th of July at the Kazungula border post, and when they were intercepted by the immigrations department, they discovered that 9 Ethiopian men aged 20 and 33 were concealed in compartments of the 2 Volvo trucks. So you can imagine the way they were being handled and bundled in this vehicle so that they cannot be seen by authorities. But I think authorities, according to the immigrations department public relations manager Namanti Shinka, they were acting on a tip-off from a member of the public who suspected that the truck drivers were carrying foreign immigrants, and they were almost getting out of Zambia, but they were intercepted at Kazungura border post, and they are likely to face a number of charges according to Zambian laws.
All right, Mike. We're gonna end with some positive news. Miracle Chipito got it going at the Professional Fighters Championship League in Nigeria. I hope I said that correctly.
Quite. So, Miracle Chipito is one of those stories that a number of Zambians are beginning to know, because she's coming from a hard background, and she took up this sport, which is relatively new in Zambia. And because of how she's determined to make it, she has continued to rise from one step to the other. So on this night, she beat Egyptian fighter, and the victory did not come with ease, because in the first round she injured her ankle, so that she could not put her weight on that ankle, but she still managed to pull out a victory in this matter through what is called a rear naked choke submission. This is a relatively new sport in Zambia, so we have to get used to how the scoring is done. So because of that near naked choking, she managed to get the Egyptian fighter to submit, and also she secured this victory to her favor. And according to the federation that manages this sport in Zambia, they said that the victory of Miracle has sent a signal to the rest of the continent in Africa that Zambia has got what it takes to reach higher heights in terms of getting medals in this sport on the continent of Africa and beyond. So Miracle Chipito has gotten so much accolades, as well as commendation from members of the public, because others need to know about this sport just through what she's been able to do on the African continent.
Thank you, Mr. Sichula, and I must say very few can even hope to represent the African continent as well as you do every single Monday with the Zambia Report. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and Africa, good morning.
And Africa, good morning indeed. Let's have a quick recap of some of our top stories before we swing to the indicators and say goodbye. We spoke about Australia joining the US and the UK with South Africa high security alert, and this is largely due to the recent anti-immigration protests. A referendum bill is deepening the DR Congo constitutional battle, where opposition figures allege that Tshisekedi seeks to extend his presidential term. Zimbabwe is introducing new rules for cryptocurrency operators. And IMF is reviewing Mozambique's request for fund-supported arrangement. And of course, Mike Sichula delivered the Zambia report on DSTV 285, GoTV 25, OneUp2.com, NTVAfrica.my.na. That's Africa with a K. You can always watch Africa Good Morning at those platforms. My name is Ashwin Bedi. We leave you with economic indicators. Swera Jakanaka.